Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your 2021 autumn reading from Planet Waves. My name is Eric Francis Coppolino, your astrologer, for the next half hour or so here with some ideas and information about your transits to your solar chart at this time in history. The solar chart is a chart for the sign itself rather than for a person. So there are no natal planets, but what you do get are natal positions of the signs, and the natal positions of the signs are very useful in helping decipher what a sign is about. One of the most common things people wonder about in astrology is, what are the properties of my sign? And one of the ways we find the properties of your sign is by looking to the solar chart. Here's what your solar chart looks like at the moment. I'm working on some new equipment in this round, and so I haven't quite figured out how to get this all to work. But there's a copy of this chart on the page for your sign, so I'll point to things, and then even if I can't hold the thing up for a long time, you'll at least know what I'm talking about. But we know this is your solar chart because Gemini is right on the seventh, on the first house. And the opposite sign is Sag. Sag is on the 7th. And what I want to begin by talking about the influence of Aquarius, which is your ninth house placement. It's an air sign. 9 signs away from your birth sign is another air sign, and that is Aquarius. And Aquarius is the sign that, first of all, is having the most intense transits right now. Namely of Saturn and of Jupiter, but also Aquarius is in line to have the once in many lifetimes transit of Pluto moving through it, which begins in March of 2023. And these Pluto transits are profound events, and they tend to color the historical quality and the social quality of and the spiritual quality of an entire era of history. And having long since passed by the closest point to the sun, Pluto is now slowing down and taking 20 years to go through a sign. For most of the time that we've been around on the planet, Pluto has burned through a sign in 13 or 14 or 15 years or so, and now now it is slowing down, and again, it's going to be 2 decades. Pluto finally leaves Aquarius in 2044, pardon. Going from memory here. So it's quite a long transit. Pluto makes its way into Aquarius between early 23 and then right around when 2024 begins, sometime on that one, close to that New Year's Day of 24, Pluto makes its permanent ingress into Aquarius, where it will be, for many of us, for most of the rest of our lives, or the entire rest of our lives. And now, having lived as an astrologer through several Pluto phases, and having studied many more, it is obvious this is a profound influence and impact on our lives and on our world. And where this influences your chart is one of the best places it could do so, which is in your ninth house. So as I mentioned, if you count 9, oops, I'm going to just completely cover my face. If you count 9 places from Gemini, you come all the way around to Aquarius. And the ninth is the house where we find our spiritual and religious practices. And I think that the religious part of a person is a part that is always there, regardless of what religion they might be, including even in people who are agnostic or atheist. There's something that has to fill that particular house, some way of relating to all of that which is larger and greater and different from we are, and well, different meaning a kind of the different we aspire to be, and the different that we think of as beyond ourselves, that we then learn how to have within ourselves and find within ourselves. And I think that one of the more let's say, conversation starting ways to consider the matter of religion for people is to just look at what's on their ninth house. And when we find on the ninth for Gemini is you have Aquarius on there, and that means that your religious path is humanity. However you want to take that word, finding your humanity and finding humanity itself, and generally loving or seeking the truth of God in the human race. The last sign I read for was Leo, and Leo has Aries on the ninth house, and so to give another example of what that's like, when you have Aries on the ninth, your way to finding God might be something like self-actualization. The way to finding God might be finding yourself. With Aquarius on the ninth, the way to finding God is exploring the human race and coming to love and respect and understand the human race, and making peace with humanity, and by participating in humanity. And right now, humanity is facing very tough times. I mean, humanity has come under the influence of people who may have done a good job providing us all these cool devices that we are so accustomed to, and we have now invited into our lives, and in many ways completely wrapped our lives around. But also the pressure to be more like the technology than to be human. The pressure to be like a robot rather than to be like a person. And we now live in the full-on time of transhumanism, when this has become an outwardly stated agenda to fully integrate the human experience into the digital experience, where we are witnessing this happen right before our eyes. However you may feel about the COVID vaccinations, Moderna admits right on its website that its mRNA substance is a platform, is a software application. I know there are people who could say that this is a conspiracy theory, but it's right on the Moderna website, and they are touting the benefits and the beauty of their injection, and they're saying this is a versatile platform. You'll be able to do anything with this, and this is now. This is long before now. Starts officially in 2018, and then they've managed 2019. Well, 2020, the trials were going. People were getting injected with this stuff, and they've been testing it in various forms for a while, and half the planet's injected, and so half the planet has an operating system. It's not a natural genetic operating system, but rather a modification, as admitted by our friends at Moderna. Welcome to the transhuman age. And I think it's important that we recognize that we are in the transhuman age, so that we know where we are at all times. You're only lost if you don't know where you are, because once you know where you are, you know how to find your way back. You are lost if you have no concept of where you are. And at the moment, the where and the who are different. The where and the who are gradually aligning with one another, because it is this place that humanity finds itself that is reconceiving the entire concept of what a person is. And this is the theme of the astrology in many different ways. One of the ways is when you look at all this astrology in Aquarius, and you see that the technology associated with Aquarius, that meets the humanity associated with Aquarius, and then that also meets the place where they meet, and then Aquarius's main quest, which is the struggle to stay human in the midst of all the influences that are affecting that, and the struggle to be an individual in the midst of all of the pressures that we're experiencing to be something other than human. And these pressures are coming merely from being in this environment. Well, I've hidden the devices from the field of view, but they're all around me, and they're all around you, and they're all around everybody over the age of 10, basically running around with a computer in their pocket. And this is transforming us, and it's transforming us radically, and it's transforming us in ways that I think are dangerous, because the one and only thing we have is our humanity. And one of the most important things that you have is your understanding that your search for your own place in the human family, and your search for your role in the human condition and the way the human condition influences you are all about how you relate to other people. And right now, all of this is being taken over to the point where there's discussion of every person having an IP address. And this very question, this very challenge is your spiritual path. This very challenge is your quest for God, for being, for your higher power, because you seek and find your higher power through the journey of Aquarius, and now that's where the heat is, and Pluto is coming, and the question of all of this is what is the metamorphosis involved in Aquarius for each of us? What is that transformation from one thing to another? There are two concepts of metamorphosis in nature as described by natural science, and one of them is the one that we know about or think about most commonly, which is the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, or we think of that as being metamorphic. I think that the egg becoming the caterpillar is pretty cool and pretty metamorphic also. But then the caterpillar lives and eats everything in its path, and then it stops and it finds a place and it wraps itself in a cocoon, and it goes through a process that no one's ever seen. Maybe we have some new 3D imaging, but no one's actually personally witnessed this with their eyes directly, which is how that caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, but it is going from one distinct phase of its life to another distinct phase of its life, all contained in the same genetic code. And so we are all going through that in some way, but the question is what way. Some people are going to emerge as a butterfly, and I think some are going to be subsumed and swallowed by something that they don't quite understand right now, and something where it's going to be very difficult for them to get themselves back should the time come when they choose to do that. The second form of metamorphosis is, I'm sorry, I've got a canine right under my desk that I'm taking care of, and I'm petting her with my feet right now. The second form of metamorphosis is in geology, metamorphic rock. And this is the transformation of rock by heat and pressure. It can be tectonic pressure. I'm sure there are certain types of volcanic pressure, which is tectonic pressure, or when an asteroid or meteorite slams into the earth, and there's a powerful immediate release of huge amounts of heat and energy that transforms things into a new form. And we're going through both metamorphoses right now, and the entire human race is going through this. And the question is, the question is, which way are you going to go? Are you going to be absorbed into something that you don't understand, or are you going to assert yourself against the prevailing trend which is very much currently right now an advertisement to give up your humanity. Right now we're seeing this every day. Give up your free will, give up your individuality, give up your autonomy. And the very question of Aquarius, and therefore the very question of your spiritual path, which is described by Aquarius, is the question of human growth and transformation, and participating in human growth and transformation. And your particular spiritual path is where you walk that line between yourself and something other than yourself, or yourself and something larger than yourself, or the quest of whether you go further into your self-actualization, or whether you surrender your self-actualization. Now, the pressure is on right now, and then Pluto arrives in March of 23, and then this begins this long, bold adventure, which could have many different implications. And I am, for one, praying for the evolutionary concept of Pluto, rather than the making everything the same concept of Pluto, because those are really the choices you get. You get the choice of growth and evolution and transformation, or you get the choice of basically, in a sense, being swallowed by something larger. Now, there's another clue given in this chart which talks about the way in which you relate to others. Much of this reading is about the 11th sign, Aquarius, which for you shows up in the house of spirituality and your personal growth path. But Aries is the other sign where this is going on. I'm going to touch on Libra too. That's a very important one, particularly this autumn. And one great thing about Gemini is that you have Aries. Have I used this yet? Is that you have Aries? I think I have on the ninth house, 11th house, and the 11th is where you find your relationships to the wider society. The 11th is where you make your friends. It's where you affiliate in groups. And for you, that is Aries. And what I have learned about Aries over the years is that Aries is where one has Aries in one's chart, is where one seeks to actualize oneself, where one engages in the process of growth most intensely, and where one encounters an unstoppable force which is compelling you to be. To be you. I forget who it was, Skinner or Fromm or someone described maybe one of their predecessors, described self-actualization as this tropism in the human psyche to be human. And so we find you experiencing this tropism to be human among other people. So some have to find it by surrendering to a sexual relationship of some kind. Some have to find it by through work. Some find it, as Leo does, through a spiritual path where self-actualization is the path to God, where you know that your religious path is becoming human. You have something very similar, which is that your path to self-actualization is learning who you are amidst other people. And I think this is one reason why Gemini is one of the most social and one of the most human-oriented signs. If you haven't had the privilege of doing so, do a Gemini birthday party one year and put like 30 Geminis in the room together, and you're going to experience an atmosphere, an easygoing, conversant atmosphere like you've never experienced in your entire life, where everyone just can have an easy conversation and no one has to be stuck back against the wall. And so you are you have a setup of being able to assert your humanity among others, and this is a very good position to be in if you don't want to submit to not being yourself, not making your own actual choices that you need to make. You get to do this, and this means, though, above all else, it means being confident being different, being determined to allow yourself to be as different as you are, to allow yourself to be as different as you need to be, to allow yourself to be distinct and to be a maverick and to stand out. And you have that gift right now. And you could take this further than being comfortable being different to like whatever it takes to be different. I'm going to be that, and I don't care if people love me or hate me. They are free to feel however they want to feel. They're free to do whatever they want to feel. They're going to have their trip and their experience. I am not going to let that influence me or in any way lead me to back off and give up on this quest that I am on, both my spiritual quest, and you might think of it as your the psychological growth quest is also a form of a spiritual quest. So it's a beautiful setup and one of the best of the lot. Now I've been if you've heard other signs, I've had a lot to say about the nature of our times, really emphasizing and highlighting this sort of dangerous quest between the individual and the group, and the ways in which this newfound collective that we are finding ourselves in, collective. We don't really know who called the committee together and who made the vote. And I'd like to see a copy of the charter of this organization called the collective, which you now must do everything they say. Is getting into every single relationship that we have, bar none. It is, Adrian Rich said that there's no private life that's not in some way determined by a larger public life, and we are in that time right now. We are completely under the thrall of the public life, and it is practically to the point where you're going to be asked what color underwear you're wearing, and you're going to be expected to give the right answer or no vittles for you. And the need to push back is so profound, and yet there are many people who just do not have the strength to push back, and there are many people for whom it is just easier to go along with the plan, and that's a sad state of affairs. But fortunately, for many reasons, if you are following your original instructions and if you're in contact with your Dharma, you will take strength and see the beauty in asserting yourself against this. And I think you may find that you harness tremendous evolutionary power in so doing. So let's talk about let's talk about two last signs in the time remaining. One of them is Libra. So let's see here. You have Libra right on house 5. Oops, Libra. Yep, right on house 5. This is where you're inclined to take risks. That's a good thing now. It's where you're inclined to want to create. It's where you're inclined to have fun. And also the thing about the 5th is that it is where you are willing to take the chance to be yourself and to take the chance to create something new. So there's always a risk involved in the 5th house, and you have Libra there, and so that is going to always bring in the element of beauty and the element of decisions, and so the element of decisions is a crucial one right now, because we are making decisions at all times, and the decision might be to claim your power, the decision might be to give up your power, the decision might be to allow this collective incorporated to enter your life and take over your private affairs and private relationships and determine what color underwear you wear, and it also might be the summoning the power to be yourself and to be yourself in a creative way. And this is what you're being invited to do now. So the special thing happens in Libra. And usually when I talk about a before and after moment, so there's Libra, and there's about to be a Mercury, Mars, Sun conjunction all lined up in one. I give different descriptions of this for each of the signs. You'll hear me describe it slightly differently. But from a kind of an astrology theory thing to understand is that usually before and after moments in astrology are very much about the outer planets and transits of the outer planets, things that move slowly. Saturn, or Chiron or beyond, and most things that are in the inner solar system are not really associated with before and after profound transformations. But we're now about to have one involving the inner planets, and the connection of the inner planets is the way that the Sun Mars and Sun Mercury and Mercury Mars cycles, 3 different cycles, are all synchronizing right now, right in the midpoint of the forthcoming or current Mercury retrograde, depending on when you're listening. And so there is this very unusual before and after moment that is taking place for you in a house where you are making your decision whether you're going to fully embrace your creative power. And so the meta theme of all of this, or one that we could say the ninth house theme of your spirituality being the participating fully in the human experiment, or we could say your social journey also being the experiment of really asserting yourself and all your strength as part of the social experiment, all comes down to your willingness to take chances, asserting your reality in a boldly experimental way. And that's the connection of Mars, the Sun, and Mercury in your 5th house. One more point, one more concept. You have Pisces on the 10th house, right up at the top of the chart here, and Pisces in the 10th, where you have Pisces, is the chart of the role of the government. And I want to just say I can't elaborate on this. I may go into it in much greater depth in the 2022 annual edition. You need to be very careful about what you accept as true from the government. It's bad enough having Pisces on the 10th house. I'm someone with Pisces on the 10th house. I want to love the government. I want to be a good participant in the government. But I have learned from long practice, mostly as a journalist, is that it's very dangerous trusting what these people say, as it is dangerous trusting that they have your best wishes at heart. And so I would just encourage you, because you have Neptune and Pisces and a minor planet called Nessus transiting this place, that you want to double, triple, and quadruple check anything that any government official says. No matter how many other so-called experts on TV seem to go along with them or back them up in some way, or parrot or echo what they're saying, you need to do your own research. You need to do your own work. You need to bring that power of your mind to a place of actual depth and inquiry. Gemini is one of the smartest signs, but the problem with Gemini, the intelligence of Gemini, is that it can be content to just go over the surface of something, and I am saying, get out your pencil and stab the thing with your pencil, and make sure that you are what you're believing is actually true, and this whole interval of time when we're going to be made to believe a lot of things is not over. It is just beginning, and be prepared for other viewpoints. You're made for that, whether we're talking Gemini or Pisces as your 10th. All right, that is what I have to say to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust, and I'll see you over at one of the other signs. Bye for now.